welcome to another episode of Deeper Than Sports. Today, guys, we got an awesome one in store for you. We got the head men's basketball coach here at East Kentwood, Coach Mike Thomas. We want to say, man, it's an honor to not only hang out with you today, but to give us a little bit of your time. We're going to hang out, ask you a couple questions, man, and just let you talk to us about your journey to being the best of the best, man. And so before we get started, we just want to say thanks for having us, man.
No, thank you. Thank you for having me as well. It's just a true honor to be here, man.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
I was going to say, man, take us back. We're going to dive into the basketball stuff in just a moment, but take us back to where you're from and what got you on this path of coaching. Were you a former athlete? Did sports kind of save your life? Talk to us about how you got here.
So, I'm from Saginaw, Michigan.
Nasty, man.
I'm from Saginaw, Michigan. Sag Nasty. We, we call it the motherland of basketball.
Nice.
I tell my son that's the motherland of basketball for us. But I come from Saginaw, small town. Come from a family of 4 or 5.
Yeah.
And mom and dad, hardworking people, but my dad introduced me to basketball, and I would say my dad, and I would give a lot of my credit to, you go even further and give some credit to my grandfather.
Awesome.
So my grandfather worked in the plant, worked for GM in the plant. But for whatever reason, before I was born, he decided to put a basketball hoop on his garage, on the garage, and all I can remember is just that was the only hoop on the block.
Yeah.
Everybody on the block was coming to play at Granny's house.
Yeah.
And we spent a lot of our time over my grandmother's house, especially in the summer, staying the night with all our cousins and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But I can remember just waking up in the morning and just hearing the ball bouncing.
Yeah.
And it was just one of the neighborhood kids just out there shooting around. So our spot was the place to play.
Yeah.
And so that kind of helped me create the interest. But then my dad was he was also like a middle school coach. He was a middle school coach at Arthur Eddy back in Saginaw. And he was a middle school coach for Arthur Eddy, but then he also had ties to Saginaw High School. Head coach Marshall Thomas. He's no relation. We get that question all the time. But so I found myself always in my dad's practice.
Yeah.
I also always found myself with my dad at Saginaw High's practice all the time, at all their games, all the basketball games. I found myself over Coach Marshall Thomas's house a lot with my dad. They were talking basketball. I was just playing around. And we also had an AAU program.
Nice.
Called Saginaw Pride. I don't know if you guys ever heard of that. But
Nice.
Some of the most legendary players that came through Michigan, and especially Saginaw, played in that program. But that program was started and ran by my AAU coach, Reggie Robinson. Reggie Robinson kind of put the ball in my hand, or put the team aspect of basketball into my hand. A lot of skill sets. Here I am finding myself again on the bench watching these star players play for Saginaw Pride. I'm the manager. I'm 3 or 4 years old, but I'm the manager for Terrence Roberson. I don't know if you guys know about Terrence. He's on that team. I'm the manager of Jesse Drain. I guess he used to be here he played at Ottawa for 1 year back in the 90s, and then went back to Saginaw.
Okay.
So here I am as a manager, or a water boy, you call it.
Yeah.
And not knowing, as I look at these pictures now, like these old pictures and stuff, I'm starting to look at these pictures and I'm like, man, that's the reason why I was always around basketball. Like, I'm starting to realize all the people that I've been connected with as far as basketball goes.
It didn't hurt to be around some great basketball players as well, right?
I was lucky, man. I'm telling you, if you were anything in Saginaw, you had to play for Saginaw Pride.
Gotcha.
Like, so Coach Reggie Robinson, he touched a lot of those special Saginaw players coming up, and I wasn't that good in high school. I was just, I played behind a lot of those guys. But, after I graduated college and things like that, that's where my story kind of started for me as far as basketball goes.
Awesome. Really quickly, a couple Saginaw people I want to give some love to. I got some Saginaw roots, and I'm gonna just run down my list. I'm gonna start with Charles Rogers. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
That's my bro.
I need a moment for him.
That's my
man.
twin.
Just 1 second.
We played at Michigan State together, but
Really?
he was near and dear to me. They called me Baby Chuck 'cause they thought we looked alike.
Man, you do.
And so
Just like
that's like my big bro. But Jeremiah McLaurin,
J Mac, yes sir.
Lamar Woodley,
good dudes.
Draymond Green.
Yes sir. I actually coached Draymond my first year back. I was a JV coach.
Nice.
And I was an assistant to Lou Dawkins, and he was.
I don't
still
know
ran
if,
his mouth.
I don't know if Monquez Wedlow was.
Yeah, I played with. He a little older than me. Played quarterback.
Yep.
He a little older. Good dude.
Good dude.
This was a
played
great
linebacker
era.
for us at Michigan State. Was
he captain?
Yeah, and he was our captain.
Yeah.
My list of Saginaw people is very, very long, and that's like a second home to me. And so I just wanted to salute them when you talked about that.
Come on,
I'm looking like they all talk about Saginaw pride, so they had to come through that. And so,
those were the days, man. We had some during that time. You know, you naming all those guys. There's some more guys. You know, Jason Richardson and all those guys. Like that era of basketball or just athletes was amazing, man.
So what year you graduate?
So I graduated in 2001.
So you graduated with us.
We all 01.
So,
okay, there we go.
Did you play football?
You know, watch this. This my football story. This my football story. We're gonna put it out there. This Coach Direct gonna be on here. I know he gonna see this on Facebook.
We gonna send it to him.
I love you too, Coach. And I'm just tell you right now, man. You know, well, first things first. I played 1 year football, my 10th grade year. I was receiver and cornerback. We had the best JV team of Saginaw High football. If you can claim JV football, I'm claiming it. We only lost 2 games. It was great game, great scores. But I just couldn't sit in the cold, man, and sit behind Charles Rogers, man.
Man, you just talked about that.
I am a receiver, and I knew right away that I probably would never get the ball thrown.
It's not coming your way.
It ain't coming my way. And yeah, Coach D, that was my reason I didn't play. Even though you begged me, you said I was a good cornerback and all that stuff, but man, I wanted to score touchdowns, man. That was my reason for not playing, man. So.
That's what's up.
That 99 team,
yeah.
So that's our junior year. So they went to the state that year.
Yeah.
So I talked, J Mac said they had like 10 D1 players
on
that team.
Yeah.
Terry Jackson was a
Terry Jackson, Roy Manning, Marcel and Jamel Dillard went to Grand Valley here. Kirk Carruth went to Grand Valley here. Anthony Roberson played football, but basketball.
Florida.
Ronald Stanley.
He played linebacker for us at Michigan State.
Otis Washington went to Vanderbilt. Rest in peace to Otis. He a class of 01 as well. Then the list goes on.
Yeah, Saginaw was loaded, man.
It was loaded, man. I'm telling you, that
Coach
was.
Michael was with the dogs.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I was on the bench, man.
I'm saying who you grew up with and who was. Because we 01, so obviously we know.
Yeah.
And then you know everybody that was before you. 2000, 99.
Yeah.
Then after, you know what I'm saying? That's awesome, man.
So just looking at it, like you was talking about your journey, it's like you was around the game. So my experience is playing in the NFL. It's been a time where in a moment as athletes, we had to stand and do a lot of watching. Observing. So when I spent my time in the NFL, you know, I was on the practice squad. I didn't play it much, only got a few reps, but I watched greats in front of me. So like you said, you watching these high school greats and you around the coaches and stuff like that, and eventually you picked up. So what are some of those habits that you picked up at an early age when you knew? Because I know you probably knew, like in high school, like, hey, one day I want to be a high school head coach. I'm assuming that. So what are some things that you picked up from that high school head coach or assistant coach and said, hey, man, I'm going to add this once I be a head coach? These are some of the things that, you know.
So let me go back to, like, I didn't even know I wanted to be a coach. It just kind of happened, you know. Wow. I'm gonna just tell you how my whole life has just been based off faith. Like just really been, you know, with faith. Like even just picking to go to Albion College. Like I had never heard of Albion. I had never, but only thing I knew is that here I am around these great guys. right? I'm around these, the Anthony Robersons, the Chargers, the Eugene Seals, and all those Tenor, all these guys, and they're getting highly recruited. All I know is I wanted to be recruited. You know what I'm saying? But it's hard to get recruited when you don't. I played freshman and I played JV my sophomore year, and then I played varsity junior and senior year. Didn't really play as much my junior year. I started my senior year. I still played, All-Americans or whatever, but it's kind of hard to kind of get recognized by those things when you're playing with those guys. But at the same time, I didn't know it until after, I was finished playing and graduated. But I didn't know that the Lord was just training me to be who I am today.
That's awesome.
So I would, again, I didn't play a lot. So right now as a coach, you got to have thick skin. You have to have an understanding, because you're going to have those conversations with the kids that don't play a lot.
Right.
And you have to kind of, for me at least, like, I don't really necessarily give in. I don't feel bad, but I do feel bad because I was in that position. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like, I was in that position. Hey, I was the short guy that couldn't get many minutes and things like that. And it's okay. And I want them to understand that it's okay. And so some of the things that's another thing that I've learned. As far as just learning what a coach is supposed to be, just how to carry yourself.
Yeah.
I've been lucky enough to have some great guys to coach me. And so a lot of times in my everyday life, even just with parenting or any hard decisions, the thought that comes to my head are coaches.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? What would they do?
Yeah.
What would they do in this situation? And so I've been blessed to have guys like Marshall Thomas, Reggie Robinson, Mike Turner at Albion College. I've been lucky to play for those guys, because they were some great men.
Yeah.
They held us accountable. They were always on time. They treated people the right way. They had a good heart. They were willing to spend their time away from their family with me, and that's something that I had to learn too. As a coach in high school, like, we don't get rich as coaches. You know what I'm saying? You got to really want to do this. You got to really care about this.
There you go.
And so, for me to make coaching or kids a part of my everyday life, you have to really love it, and your significant other have to have an understanding as well. And I just take my hat off to my significant other who's on my staff too. I have to get smart enough to bring her on my staff if I'm gonna be spending a lot of time here and things like that. So I hope I answered that question. I can get
that's real.
That's good. I like that too. I want to ask, like, are those guys you named, who's had the biggest impact on your coaching career, and does your coaching style resemble one of those guys more than another?
I think you'll see a little bit of everybody.
Okay.
I think it goes back to answering the first part of that question, but I took away my experience. From my experience, this is what I took away from it. Coach Marshall Thomas, I love you. Don't get mad at me. I'm gonna give you a big hug when I see you. But I didn't like how Coach didn't like how everybody. He only had like 2 or 3 people, maybe 2 people, shoot the ball.
Yeah.
I wasn't one of the ones that he liked. So as a coach, I was like, well, I want to try to coach. I want my team. I don't want my team to feel like that. I want all my players to feel like that. So I want to try to create a system that's fun for everybody.
That's good.
But watch this. But I see why Coach did it, because not everybody is offensively talented. So then I would start cutting some of those things back. Like, hey, man, I don't want you taking that shot. Right. But I can, so it's kind of like a give and take. You know what I'm saying? My defense, it comes. That's where we from, Saginaw. We love defense. We love it. You know what I'm saying? We bleed it. And Marshall Thomas he implemented that into everybody in Saginaw. I mean, to this day, that's what we talk about. You know what I'm saying? And so if you watch my teams over the last 10 years or whatever, every team is, I'm a defensive guy. Our identity is defense.
Gotcha.
And so that's where that comes from, that toughness, that tenacious defense, ferocious.
Yeah.
Those are some of the words that Coach Thomas used, just stuck in me. You know what I'm saying?
There you go.
Yeah, so, but, Mike Turner over at Albion College taught me a more understanding of the game, team game. They broke the game down, and to me, they broke the game down into its simplest form.
Yeah.
And so one of the things that I noticed that when I went to first practice, I noticed how the practice plan was very detailed. So in my mind, it was like, hey, if you don't get this, and you're not a very good basketball player, and I've seen a lot of kids not get it, but that goes back to how I was taught coming up. We were actually taught how to run an offense. We were actually taught some of the nuances of the games because of the guys like Reggie Robinson, who took their time to just sit in the gym with us 2-3 hours a day in the summer to just really teach us. Not just teach us how to play, but understand how to play. Yeah. And that's where a lot of that stuff comes from. And then my where I started from, my AAU program. I also forgot to mention someone too. He's gonna get mad too. But Poo Poo Epperson. He was my elementary coach. Coach Poo, Coach Pops, and Coach Poo. That's actually where. I was blessed to go to like a HBCU elementary that was considered like a HBCU that had all types of different activities. We had a black principal, we had black teachers, we had black coaches, and I think a lot of Charles Rogers went to that school as well. And I think a lot of the guys that came up in that elementary school are successful. And I think it was because of the foundation, the foundation that was implemented in us. They taught us how to use our mind creatively. So a lot of the things that we do is are innovative thinking, but we learned that at a young age. We were just blessed to have those young men, those men as mentor to teach us.
So when you transition to, now we at Albion, and now the man is becoming who you started that journey. I often say most people see the end result, but very few consider the journey. You got the Lord locked into your life. I love that about you. You got the foundation of some legendary coaches that built the fabric of who you are. But now it's time for Mike to step out. Talk to us about your first coaching gig, and then walk us through you becoming a head coach and leading us to winning all these championships and all that.
It's funny, man. I always like to tell this story. I make sure I tell it because I'm very proud of it. It's my very first coaching job. I graduated Albion College. Just like a lot of college students, I don't know what to do. I don't know where to go. So I went back home, man, and I'm just in the basement. I'm in the basement. I think I'm substitute teaching and things like that. And Lou Dawkins, take my hat off to him too. I forgot to mention him in my.
No, you mentioned him. You mentioned him earlier.
But Lou Dawkins, I played for Lou. JV. This was his first year as a high school coach. And I was on his first team as a JV player.
Nice.
And he made sure we won every game by 40 points. And he was undefeated. He got shirts and stuff made on the day of the last game, right before the game. I think we almost lost, but we won. But he was that confident in us. But he kind of opened up the freedom of play for us. You know what I'm saying? Nice. He allowed us. He took the shackles off. Shoot that thing. That was his favorite word. Shoot that thing, Mike. Just shoot it. All right, okay. But Lou called me. He knew I was back at home, and he said that. So he had just got the varsity job, maybe a year after. Okay. And he said that, hey man, I need some people to come in and help coach here. Somebody that's been through it. You know what I'm saying? Somebody that's been under him that'll make it easier. Yeah. And hey, I wasn't doing nothing. Hey, let's do it. So I guess that's the reason why I coached. That's the reason I got into coaching right there. He just called me, and I needed a little bit of money. I'm just sitting at home. And that's how he said, he's like, here's a job. You want to be around coaching, and let's do it. Well, that didn't happen until the job didn't start until, the season didn't start until November.
The season, November, right.
Well, his wife, Trish, bless her heart, thank you, she was a principal at South Middle School. And they needed a girls coach. 7th and 8th grade girls coach. You know, that was back when the girls was playing first.
Yup.
Yeah.
Before the
Fall.
In the fall. So,
So
she was like, here. She was like, here, you the coach. She just said, you the coach. And so I never forget it, man. These were some good girls. We won the city championship. No, we runner up. And then we won the next year.
So, Mike, when you came out the gate winning,
fire.
This dude been winning his whole life.
I take credit for that. Whoever was the coach before that, man, because when I got there, I was like, man, these girls can play. You know what I'm saying? These just weren't your average girls either. Like, these girls could play. But I was also playing against some girls that could play too, though. Like, so the city of Saginaw, they can all just play, you know. But I always like to tell that story because, man, I love that piece. I love those girls because they help me build patience. Yeah. And nothing against girls basketball, but girls are going to do exactly what you tell them to do. Yes. They're a little different than boys.
They literal.
You know, the boys are going to try to challenge you. They want to see if you can really play. Check up, coach. You know, all that. But the girls is literally going to, if I say, hey, hold the ball. This actually happens. There's a girl named Maisha. And I don't mean to put her out there like that. But no, we ain't gonna put her out there. She's the girlfriend of the rapper. What's this big dude from Detroit?
T Grizzly.
T Grizzly. There you go. Yeah. So we up in the game, and I'm on the sideline. We trying to stall a little bit. It's about a minute left. We up by like 10. I'm like, hey, look, you just gotta hold the ball. Just hold it. Well, she literally just stood there and just held it. Like the defense ain't finna come. And so this is the defender. The defender just took it from her and went down. I'm like, she said, well, you said just hold it. Like, so I was like, I knew right then and there you gotta be the girls, you gotta be specific with girls. And nothing wrong with that, but I love coaching girls. Yeah. I mean, they do exactly what you tell them to do. But just coaching 7th and 8th grade girls, I went into that. Had some really good times there with a lot of my girls. Then that's when, right after that season, it flows right into high school ball.
Yeah.
So now here I am coaching Draymond. Draymond is the first year on varsity. He's a sophomore, and Draymond still. Y'all think Draymond talk now? Man, Draymond he would never shut up back in the day. He still ain't. That's my baby though. But Draymond, we coached Draymond. I think we lose that year, and then we win back to back the next year, the next 2 years. But in the middle of that, I go to Northwood University.
Okay.
As a graduate assistant. I'm here. I am. Let me tell you how this works.
So you was when you coached Draymond, you was a varsity assistant or you was JV coach?
So
2 years.
Look at that whole year. 7th and 8th grade girls head coach, JV head coach, varsity assistant. So those 2 years, that's how that went. Yeah, that's how that went.
Okay.
Then I was doing some AAU stuff with some people too and stuff like that. Yeah. But then, so let me tell you how I got to Northwood. So here we are at an open gym. The open gym, this sideline was filled with Division I, Division II coaches, along with Saginaw High coaches, right? So you're in there mingling and things. So Northwood University coach, actually Bob Taylor, RJ Taylor played for me at Grand Blanc. That's his dad, right?
Okay, nice.
RJ Taylor was like one years old when I was at Northwood. So, well, we there watching, just watching open gym and things like that. And Albion had played Northwood 2 times in my 4 years at Albion. So we kind of had a relationship there. So that connection. And we just was talking, and here we are in an open gym, one of the most talented open gyms in the country. And you know how recruiting is. Recruiting is about relationships. If you got people that's connected here, let's try to help, you know. Well, he was in open gym on a Thursday. We were talking, and he said, hey, you ever thought about getting your master's? Nah, not really. Do you want it? Yeah. Well, Monday I was at Northwood. Wow. I was at Northwood.
Wow.
Look at that.
As a graduate assistant, you know. Wow. And that's just, again, this is telling you how this is how my life has been. Like, I haven't
the
really
path is laid out for you, man.
I ain't applied for no job. I ain't applied for no coaching job
Mike,
ever.
You let the Lord do the advancing in your life. If you look at the blessings you receive, you right place, right time. You show up, you dependable, you're reliable. The Lord see all that. You just constantly been, like you said, never had to apply, never had to you try to beat somebody out for an opening.
Yeah.
Everything you got, not given in a silver spoon type of giving way, but right place, right time, favor.
It's been meant for you.
It's been meant for you. It had your name on it already.
So there's been times like, you know, I go through that, like, yeah, I plan. It never work.
You know?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I stopped a little bit. You know, I'm not saying I stopped, but
Yeah, you notice when you let the Lord do it, it all work out smooth.
Yeah,
It's hard for people to understand that. I'm the same way.
It was tough, man. You know, I cried. I've frustrated. You know, there's places I wanted to be, jobs I wanted to get. The ones that I've applied to, I ain't never get. Like I could be sitting there mad, and then Grand Blanca call or Kentwood a call, or and it's like, okay, you go on this faith, you go on this, not even you on this journey journey of faith. Sorry, but then, yeah, you wanna accomplish some things on your own, but then Lord will pull you back. Yeah. Like I left Kalamazoo Central, like trying to coach college. Like that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a college coach or whatever. And so that was my journey of really going to Northwood. Really, that was my journey. If I'm a coach, I want to be a coach at a college level. Like I want to be able to take care of my family. I want to be able to do this. Like if you noticed earlier, I say, hey, you don't go into high school coaching thinking you're gonna be rich. But again, not going in it trying to be rich. I just want to take care of my family. But the Lord will let you know, hey, if you just listen to me, you're gonna be okay. You know what I'm saying? Like I went on that faith at Albion and stuff like that, and as a coach, and was trying to get in, and this and that, and you know, you just keep letting man control your destiny.
Exactly.
Let my man upstairs control it. Like why am I putting my career in the hands of some coach that I don't even know, some coach who I gotta kiss ass to, but I don't do that. It's hard for me to do that, and the Lord is telling me that you don't have to do that. Right. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, that's how things work for me. So it's just been phone call after phone call, and I can just be sitting down, and if it feels right, I'm gonna say yeah. If it don't, you know, like I ain't never really said no. I haven't really had to say no too many times.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's just been.
That's a good, Mike. How did you know whether it was a Grand Blanc job, the KZoo job, or this East Kentwood job? How do you know when it's the right opportunity for yourself? Was it something about the
when my
people
wife smiled? No, I was just playing. No. I would say this, it's, you know, as long as I have my family, as long as they're happy, as long as I can come to a community or city and not have to worry about how my bills are going to get paid or anything like that, like, the situation is going to be really good. The situation for the community. It
gives you peace of mind to be able to do what you need to do.
It gives, do what you've been called to do. If I don't have to worry about certain things, then success is going to come. You know what I'm saying? Like, that phrase is, man, you know, I don't need much, man. Like, I just need my wife to be happy. To be honest, dog, to be honest.
There you go.
Like, I just want her to be happy. As long as she's straight, I'm straight. Like I don't.
We simple guys.
Yeah, you know, I'm very simple, man. I don't need a lot of things to make me happy. I just need hoops in my family. To be honest, like this is my first podcast, and
there we go.
Y'all helping me figure out myself.
There we go.
Figure myself out. You know what I'm saying?
There we go.
Answering and talking.
You killing it, man. You killing it.
So I want to rewind back. So your journey. So you got Northwood grad assistant. So how did that process or that journey takes to being, was KZoo your first, KC was your first?
I'll tell you what, so let me go back to this. Just to tell you how life is all about connections. Yeah. So you go back to Lou Dawkins' wife, Trish Dawkins. She's the principal. She was the assistant principal at South Middle School. Yeah. Now the head principal is a guy named Mr. McCann. I forget his first name, Mr. McCann. Now, he was driving back and forth from Rockford to Saginaw for 10 years. Wow. He was staying in a hotel for 10 years. He'd just go home on the weekend. So he was the principal when Dar Tucker and them came through there. So he's seen all the talent. And so, and I used to coach at the middle school with the girls. He used to talk about it all the time. So then when I went to Northwood, I was there for 2 years. He got a principal job at Kalamazoo. What's the new middle? Linden Grove.
Oh,
he was the Linden Grove. He was the first principal at Linden Grove.
Oh yeah, I met him. He's still
there. Yeah, he gotta still be there.
Rockford. Yeah.
So he called me out. I'm in the office. I never forget it. I'm in the office doing something. I'm getting ready to go to some King James tournament. I'm recruiting for Northwood. Finna go. And he called me and he just said, "Hey, Mike, man, there's an opportunity here, this and that, man. What you did with the girls was unbelievable." I was like, "Man, that's just girls ball." You know what I was saying? Like that. He's like, nah, they got some talent here too. He was talking about Doug Anderson. He's like, "Man, they got some talent here. Like, I think that you can get this thing." I was like, "You sure, man?" I'm gonna, I don't know nobody over there. You know what I'm saying? I don't know nobody over there. I was like, "All right, man, all right." And I just hung up and didn't think no more about it. I thought it was one of those calls that was just going, just to spark a conversation or something. He called me back about 2-3 days later. "Hey, Mike, you get your stuff in?" I'm like,
he was on you. I ain't doing it. He was on you.
He was like, "Hey, don't worry about it. Don't get nothing in. Just call. I'm gonna give you a number to somebody. Von Washington, principal." And we just started talking. And I didn't have a resume. I ain't had no coaching experience. I ain't have nothing. I didn't have anything. Who gave me something? Somebody gave me a template.
A template to follow.
Hey, I copied and pasted that thing, changed a few things around. Yeah. And bombed the interview. I bombed it, didn't have much to say. "Hey, you the coach." So, hey, let's go then. But so that's how I got there. Like, no joke, that's how I got there, man.
Wow.
Like, that's how I got there.
Yeah, that's Lord's
I did
favor.
have
That's
some people kind of help me with my resume, my portfolio stuff, stuff like that to kind of make it look good and things like that. But other than that, it was, I just think it was faith. Like, I didn't search for that job. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't search for it. And the rest was history. So I moved there at, 24, 20? Yeah, I was 25. No, 25. I had no clue that we were going to go straight to the finals. But I wanted to, you know what I'm saying? But I didn't have no clue. I didn't, I had no clue of what my message was going to be every day in practice, in the huddle. The words that came out of my mouth came from up there. I was a shy guy. Like, me talking right now is just there's a lot. Like, I'm not that guy I'm not a talkative person.
Yeah.
But once I was able to just get comfortable in Kalamazoo, it just felt right,
Mike, how did early success, like winning it all or runner up, how did early success, what kind of challenges did that bring?
Well, there was I met a pastor out in Kalamazoo.
He's
from he's on my staff, so he's doing the same thing he did for Kalamazoo Central at Syracuse University. He's on the staff at Syracuse for Boeheim. He's been out there for 5 years. But I wasn't a nice guy. I was like this guy that. So he came the second year, so we had lost in the finals, right? To Keith Allen, he dropped 50 points on me, right? But so he came in, so I'm this reserved person. I kind of keep to myself. I'm not this guy that goes out and want to mingle with everybody. And so me being a new guy from Kalamazoo, I just kind of kept to myself. But so when he approached me about trying to be on my staff and doing some of the things, I didn't accept him very well because I thought he was just an opportunist or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
To somebody or
because of the success that we had the previous year, it was a lot of noise, it was buzzing. And so I was rude, man. I was like, man, I cussed him out and stuff, like, stop coming around here, like, all that stuff, like, but he wouldn't give up. And the reason why the reason for me, and I don't even think he know this, the reason why we're best friends to this day is because of his wife. Like, not even because of his wife, but because of his marriage, because of what I've seen, how he carried himself. I seen that he had 3 beautiful children, who's 2 of them are in college right now. But I seen that he was a man that was a man of God. He was a man that was willing to teach. He wanted to teach young men. He wanted to mold young men. And I was a young man after I was only 25 myself. You know what I'm saying? But I never forget. He came into. I was working at the school after turning him down 3 or 4 times. And he just showed up to my office, and we had a long conversation. And he just kind of explained who he was. And I never gave him a chance to, to get to know him, to get to know what he was about. And I just kind of listened to other people say some things. And I'm glad that, I was able to just humble myself. Like, I kind of answer yourself. You get the big head, man. You know how we get, man. We think we better than what we are. We colder than what we are. We better than everybody. Yeah, I was that. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. I was, I had the big head. But, you get humbled too, man.
Oh, yeah, life will humble you. The game will humble you. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it kind of helped you, all that stuff it got taken away from a little incident, a little ref incident. You know what I'm saying? And you kind of sit there and reflect on that stuff and kind of realize who you are, what you did wrong, things like that. And you just kind of grow up. You have a grow up moment. You know what I'm saying? And, I think that grow up moment for me was when I left left Kalamazoo Central and just started to reflect. And I still reflect on that situation. And, you learn a lot from it.
Yeah, you do.
You learn a lot from it. You learn that people are watching you. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
You learn that you're important to communities. You learn that
your actions affect people, even if you might be into it with a ref, but how you handle that, let these hundreds of people down.
Little
stuff.
Yeah, you never know who's watching.
Just never know. You never know. But at 25, you got a lot of stuff coming. At 25, what was to me the media. That was hard. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, especially in the world to where that was where the social media stuff was like just beginning.
Yeah.
That's when the blogs, so they didn't necessarily have the Twitter and stuff yet, but but it was starting to grow.
Yeah.
And me as a quiet person who doesn't really like
introvert. Yeah.
When you in the media and you all like, you go to the store and people know you don't know them. It's kind of weird. You know what I'm saying? Right. Hey, coach, what's up, coach? Like, oh man,
Right.
But you get stuff like that. There's just stuff you have to learn as like, I just wanted to coach. I didn't.
You ain't know all that other stuff.
Yeah. I just wanted to coach, but then you have to learn how to deal with that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because that comes with success. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It does.
So, I'm a head coach too. So for me, some of these questions is picking your brain. So
That's all right.
So,
I'm an open book, man.
So my thing is, okay, you get the KC job, and I know as coaches, once we get a new job, we reflect on the last season. So you was probably watching film and you probably made some adjustments. This is some of the things that we're gonna do for this season. So what are some things that you seen from the previous film that, hey, we got to tweak, and these are some of the things I'm gonna add on, and this is my blueprint to success?
So I don't really watch film from the other team or from the previous years.
Okay.
But when I was at Kalamazoo, I had the luxury of going to recruit. When I was at Northwood, I had the luxury of going to recruit a game at Kalamazoo Central, and so I kind of seen what the talent was like.
Okay.
And so, my very first year at 25. The very first, big school, big, varsity job or whatever. During that time, I remember asking the Lord, like, what do you want me to do? And the thing that I got was just teaching what you know. And I'm like, and I was talking back and forth like, man, I ain't been nowhere to know too much. And so what I did was that's where all of that gumbo comes in. I kind of went back to, my mind instantly went back to my AAU coach. Some of those skills and drills that we used to do. Practice plans, I started thinking about practice plan, how practices was ran. I was blessed enough to have coaches that had a practice plan every single day. So I made sure I had that every day. To this day, I still take the time it take me 2 hours to do practice plan, but I'm gonna take that time to make sure it's well ran.
Yeah.
But practice plans, I went back to, to my high school frame of mind, thinking about Coach Thomas, like, all right, we would make sure that those first 3 weeks of practice was all defense. We didn't bring a ball out. We would make sure there was all defense. So I had to go back and implement some of that, but then take out some of the things that I've learned in the, the new days and add and things like that, What else? And then just being organized through Albion. Albion helped me just continue to be organized throughout the year, making sure that things were done the right way, making sure that outside of basketball, the program, not just in practice, but there's more to just coming to practice and playing games. There's something that you got to do all year long. You know what I'm saying? The planning of
and that's what I wanted to get at. How did you navigate your relationships with the ADs and the principals at your various stops?
So what I've done was, they're your bosses. Mm-hmm. So you got to have a great relationship with them. You have to have a vision. I had a vision, and they may not necessarily always see it, but sometimes you have to have a pair. Sometimes you have to have a pair and just go out and just do it so they can see it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to kind of just do some of the things because you have to understand what an AD and a principal is. They have people they have to answer to too. And if they don't know the answer, they're going to always tell you no. You know what I'm saying? They're going to always tell you no until they see it. Well, what I realized, in order for them to say yes, I got to show them. Well, in order for me to show them, I can't ask them because they're going to say no anyway.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So if I know and truly believe that the stuff is going to work, like it's in my heart, like when I don't have a problem with, some of the things that I do, I want to make sure that you are going to say yes. I want you to when I do it, it's going to be a no-brainer for you to say yes.
Say yes.
Yeah. Why would you say no? That's really my frustration when I do things.
That's a real good philosophy.
But just building that relationship with your AD, those goes a long way. It goes a long way, man, because he's under pressure. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You're going to need his support, especially when you get in trouble with that parent or whatever. You want people that's going to back you. Hey, we're human. We're gonna make some mistakes and things like that. We may say some of the wrong words we ain't supposed to say in practice, right. And those parents are gonna try to hold everything against you. But you need somebody that's gonna support you. You got to be on the same page because the community gonna challenge you.
Do you spend time with your AD? Is there anything like once a month, once every 3 months y'all check in?
Every day. I stop in his office.
Okay.
Just say what's up. Shoot him an email, shoot him a text, whatever it is. Every day I'm stopping in there talking to the secretary, talking to the AD. I just have to speak to him every day.
It's about relationships. You do good at cultivating that.
Yeah, and just being intentional. Mm-hmm. You have to be intentional about it. I think that's the new word of the world today is just being intentional, especially relationships, I'm a black coach. I was at Grand Blanc. I had to be intentional about my racial relationships.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like we have to. That wasn't necessarily the case, but before I got there, but we have to. Like the world has to be intentional.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
these
facts.
days about those types of situations. So.
All right, Coach, I got one for you. Being at couple different places and winning at those places, what's some of the things you do to relate to these kids? Like, because success follows you, so I would love to just hear, how do you relate to today's social kid?
So I do a lot of listening to older people.
Gotcha.
So whatever older people are complaining about, I try to morph into some of that with our young, because a lot of times older people are complaining about some of the young kids, what they're doing, their actions, what they believe in, and so I try to get on their level. Okay. So an example of that is just previously, like I'm gonna do it here too, but previous years, social media, like. There's a lot. I wasn't a big social media guy, but you got to in today's.
You have to.
You have to communicate with them that way. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to text them. They're not gonna pick the phone up. They don't want to talk to you.
Right.
Like those are just little things like that. You have to, I hated highlight tapes, but if that's what you want, let's do it. Like let's create a team. Let's get a video group here, a part of our program, and let's make that happen for today's world. Okay. Let's get on their level. Let's ask them what they want. Let's let them be a part of the programming building. Because I can't come in like I'm 40. Like my things ain't, my way of doing things may be a little different than what the average 15, 16, 17-year-old is. Like I have to involve them in some of my decision making, my program building, because I got to get them to respond.
Right.
And they got to buy in.
They're not going to respond to you if you don't somehow, if they don't feel that you're somewhat like them. Do you know what I'm saying? Like they're not going to come in practice, and you're not going to get a great response for them if they come in every day and all you're doing is telling them how bad they are.
Right.
All right, or can you talk about some of the shows that they watch, Stranger Things? And then I hear my guys talking about it in practice. Oh, let me check it out.
Right.
Or some of the things they listening to. Coach, can we? I used to not. Heck, now we not listening to no music in practice. I find a way to put 15 minutes. That first 15 minutes, y'all stretching in these first. Y'all can play what y'all want to do. I went and bought a big boom box. Go ahead. Yeah. As long as y'all playing hard, doing things, y'all got great. We got a team GPA of a 3.0 or above. We're winning games. Y'all doing things right in the community. We're representing our doing things the right way in the community. We're helping out. We're giving back. I want to eliminate the excuses.
Yeah.
There we go.
So when I hear a kid, I've heard like, man, where the music at? How come this team get to do this? Or I want to make sure we get jerseys every year. I mean, you got to feel good. I don't want to hear your mouth if you ain't playing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want you
I want
to
your best
feel
effort.
good when you in here for these 2 hours.
Yeah.
Hell, I wash the jerseys. That's one thing that I do. I've been doing that ever since I've been coaching. I take them home every night. I wash the practice jerseys. I wash the game jerseys. That's just something I got to do. That's just something that's a part of me. I've seen Marshall Thomas do that. I've seen my AAU coach like it's hard for me to delegate. I just started doing that.
Right.
But that's how I learned how to coach. I seen all my coaches is just, they did everything.
Right.
Before they swept the floors, hey, I'm sweeping it. Oh, coach, I got it. That's just, I got to do it. I got to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Got to get it. Yeah.
Coach, one of my questions, man, you from Saginaw, and we all Michigan boys, so we know the talent in the state of Michigan. But sometimes I think it get twisted when they go to Texas, Cali. But you've been to Saginaw, Grand Blanc, Kalamazoo. You seen, and the year you graduated, it's got some of the most legendary athletes of all time. What's some of the best athletes you've seen from all the stops you've been at?
Man, I played. So just playing with, me and my best friends. We talk about this all the time. Like the Dillard twins. They went to Grand Valley. We always talk. They live in Phoenix. One live in Phoenix. One live in Dallas. But we always talk about, we didn't realize as kids what we were in, what era we were in. Like we were all, like all the guys we named, we all hung out. We all were friends in high school. We all were over everybody's house. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so, hell, I played with Charles Rogers and Jason Richardson and Anthony Roberson. That's just 3 right there. You know what I'm saying? Lamar Woodley was, here he is, an All-American.
Yeah.
One of the best, probably the best linebacker in all of
the state
football.
of Michigan. Right.
I think he was player of the year. Charles Rogers the same way, player of the year. And like, they just regular dudes. You know what I'm saying? Just regular dudes that, that we grew up with. I was on the bench of Saginaw High as the water boy, but I used to, as a kid, I used to never wanted Saginaw High to play Flint Northern. They was just that good. That Mateen Cleaves, man. I was like, man, we couldn't stop him. You know what I'm saying? Like when Saginaw High lost, I lost. I was at home crying like a little kid. I was crying. But just that whole Saginaw Valley, you talking Mateen Cleese, Morris Peterson. I seen all those guys. Like Kevin Tolbert, he graduated with us. Mm-hmm. Then just as a little kid, Terrence Roberson. I didn't know T. Rowe was. As a kid, I didn't know he was gonna
be all that.
Yeah, like the only 3 players. There's only like 3 or 4 players to do what he's done. Been an All-American for 3 or 4 years in high school. Like, who would have known that as a kid? You know what I'm saying? Like, so. Yeah, just thinking back and reflecting, like, my life is destined to be like this then, if that's all I'm around, you know what I'm saying? Just to name some other guys too, man. Doug Anderson was one of them, Devin Oliver, and we played against, just playing against some of these guys that we couldn't stop. Ray McCallum, who else? Keith Appelin, he got the record on. He dropped 50 points.
Michigan State
50
point
points
guard.
In a championship game. Who does that? You know, bad coaching, I guess. Huh? There was, the list goes on, man.
When you see
Tom here from here.
Oh yeah,
played on this team, the Saginaw Pride team. Thomas Kelly was. I was a little kid. Asked him about Thomas Kelly.
We just interviewed him.
We interviewed him before you.
Really? Yeah. Thomas Kelly was on that team, man. So
he just got the Michigan State.
Yeah.
So how was back in the day the rivalry with Saginaw and Flint? Like, cause I know, like you said, Flint had some dogs too. Like, how was that rivalry?
Was that the biggest rivalry then, Saginaw and Flint?
No, the biggest rivalry to this day still stands: Saginaw High versus Arthur Hill. But that just ended, I think, this year because I think they
the
shut
schools merged. Or
either one more
down.
year or whatever. Yeah. But that's the biggest rivalry. But you talking back, man? I want to say ever since I was 4th grade, or maybe even before that, all the way through, even when I graduated, even a couple years after I graduated, if you didn't get to our games by the JV game, you weren't getting in the game. You was not getting in that game. It didn't matter who we played. It didn't, like that year when we had Charles Rogers, Anthony Rover, Eugene, all of them, it didn't matter. Like, we could be playing Bay City Western, and that's a routine 100-point win. But it's sold out. You know what I'm saying? So the Flint, there was four teams there: Flint Central, Flint Northwestern, Northern, Southwestern. Every time we played either one of them, whether it was home or away, sold out. That was high expectations. You better be ready for a dog fight. You didn't know who was going to win. It wasn't, each year it was different. Yeah. It was different, 50-50. They called it the mini NBA. They called the Saginaw Valley League the mini NBA. You had guys like Glenn Rice in that thing, Tucker, Andre Rison. They was all that Flint Northwestern team was probably they say one of the best teams in the nation ever. I think it was like an 83, 84, something like that. But
that's nuts.
I mean, you talking Northern Northwestern game, Northern Northwestern in my era. Those games was, you ain't want to miss them. Antonio Smith, Robert Smith, all them, Teen Cleese, all them. Crazy. Then you got the fights jumping out too. You pay $5, you're gonna see a great game. You're gonna get some good popcorn and seasoned on it. I hope East Kentwood got some season on the popcorn. But you're gonna get some popcorn. If you at Saginaw, you getting some tacos. Y'all ever been to a Saginaw High game? And the taco, people would come to the games
just for the
tacos. We ain't going to get a pregame meal or dinner is at the game. You see what I'm saying? Like, you had to dress up, you had to be fly in there. Like, you for $5, you getting a good game. You getting
a taco,
a good fight, a good boxing match for sure. You gonna get some meals, you gonna eat, and then afterwards is there's somebody having a party afterwards. But it was a good night. Those were the days, Those were the days.
Nice.
So what's your expectations, man, for your year one here at EK?
I got high expectations, man. My expectations, they pretty much been the same everywhere we go. Always shoot for the stars. Whatever the highest goal is that you're fighting for, that's what we're going to fight for. So if we could compete for a national championship, that's what we would be competing for. And so my goal is to win a state title. Nice. If that happens this year, it happens. If it don't, it don't. But at the same time, that's what we're building for.
Yeah.
My goal is to change the culture. The first year is to just change the culture. We want to change the culture to a gotta get it culture, a gotta get it mentality. Gotta get it means, and I've the guys in Kalamazoo help. We all created this together. Like we wanted after our second title, or after our first title, we came up with this slogan, and it's just kind of just stuck with me. And this is something
the GGI is.
That's what GGI is. Gotta get it. It's to create a sense of urgency to accomplish unforeseen goals without making any excuses along the way.
I love
and
that.
that's what I mean. If you talk about coming to a new school, your first year, I mean, I think that's what the definition is. It's unforeseen. I don't know what's happening today or tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? I do want to create a sense of urgency because our urgency isn't here right now.
Yeah.
And so, and along the way, we can't make excuses. We can't make excuses on why we can't be here, why we can't make it to lifting or weights or whatever it is, or open gyms or those we have to eliminate those. If I'm going to eliminate them as a coach and get you what you need, you know what I'm saying? So like we can't live life with making excuses. And the cool part about gotta get it, the last two letters in gotta get it, IT, you create the it. It's whatever it is you want to be.
Gotta get. Yeah.
Whatever it is you gotta get. You create the it. It can be a doctor, lawyer, whatever it is. You know, whether I'm quite sure your mom and dad want you to have a gotta get it mentality and clean your room up or something. You know, keep that room, have a sense of urgency to clean your room. So whatever it is, change your mentality.
Yeah.
You know, create that sense of urgency. And that's something that I bring my wife into. She's our culture coach. Culture is everything. And it's something that over the years that I didn't spend a lot of time doing. You know, I met my wife in Kalamazoo. She was at Lloyd Nork. She was the rival.
They had some dogs too.
They had some dogs over there, yes. And she was a competitive cheer coach, and I was the boys basketball coach. Well, we didn't necessarily get involved with the rival because we both wasn't from there. I'm from Saginaw. She's from Lansing.
Okay.
And so that's how we kind of connected. And then we just kind of learned from each other. You know, I took some things. I didn't think I could take some things from cheerleading, but I took a few things from cheerleading, and she took a lot of things from basketball, and
merged the two.
We merged the two. And you know, my last two state title appearances has been all her, to be honest, at Grand Blanc. Like, it's the culture thing that she's built, the culture curriculum that she's built is like no other. Yeah. You know, she is getting her master's from Harvard. Maybe that's the case. There you go. But it's like it's something that I have never been a part of, and like she gets it going so good that the guys don't listen to me. They listen to her more than they listen to me. So, but hey, go ahead. Whatever she does to get these guys to play at a high level, I'm all for it. Yep. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But the sessions, the conversations that she has with our guys for 45 minutes to an hour, 3 to 4 times a month, to just kind of help you stay focused on the prize. Yeah. Which is winning that state title. And that's something that everybody, when you involve your team to the program, to give them some input in the program. Yeah.
You increase that buy-in.
Yep. You increase the buy-in. And we're just going to reiterate what you want in the program. Beginning of the year, you're gonna tell us what you want. So we just gonna keep talking about. We're gonna keep watering that grass, watering that seed all year long. Yeah, until you get it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I like that. I'm definitely gonna have to see some of that, man. That's huge right there.
Yeah, we own it. Like Portage Central baseball team is well, they're our next gotta get it teams. He wants us to come do some sessions for them this year. Probably, we're actually starting up in this summer.
I love that you guys, your wife particularly, turned it into a curriculum, because it do allow you to go to different programs and implement or allow them to see what you did, and you too, I'm talking about as a team, what you guys did to achieve success, but now they have a system and a model and a curriculum they can replicate and duplicate.
And that's something, you know what, it's crazy you just helped me think of that. That's one of the reasons we moved to, well, not even we moved, but one of the reasons I got back into coaching
when I left Albion, I didn't know whether I wanted to do or whatever. I knew I didn't. I told myself I wasn't coaching high school basketball no more because remember I told you I'm planning to
get to the college
stuff.
Yeah.
But the Lord was like, you just hard-headed, dude. You will not listen to.
Don't tell me what you're gonna do, right?
Like, for real. Like, and I'm telling you, I was frustrated. I had gave up. I was just finna go work. Just go work somewhere, and they just called. And so, damn, I lost my train of thought.
About the curriculum and about you guys.
Oh, yeah. So we wanted to get back into, so I said, if I'm going to do this, I got to take something out of coaching. Like, I know I got to take some other hunger out of coaching because I'm getting stressed out. I'm getting gray hair and all this stuff because I ain't getting where I want to be at. And I said, my wife, she quit coaching. She said, I don't know how you do it. She's like, I don't want to be responsible for the wins and losses. I got to find some other way to coach. I don't want my success to be determined on whether I win or if I lost.
Yeah.
And so I was like, you do your thing. I don't know what you're talking about. That's what I got to do. So, but we all came back to, she was like, what about coaching coaches? I'm like, what does that mean? Like, what does that mean? She's like, just coach coaches. Why don't you talk about what you do? You know what I'm saying? People, I was like, man, nobody want to listen to me, man. Like, everybody, and she was like, well, that's what I'm going to do. She was like, if I'm going to get into coaching, I'm going to coach coaches. I'm going to coach people. And so, and I didn't really necessarily understand what that looked like until we moved to Grand Blanc and she started coaching people in a different company, like ACOM or whatever. She was coaching
departments, the managers, supervisors on how on leadership, on how to inspire your staff.
She basically was like, I just basically took what I did in the gym and put it in corporate America, and it just started flowing. And that's where Gotta Get It came from. She turned Gotta Get It from just a slogan into this nonprofit or into this reality. You know what I'm saying? And so we started moving like that.
And that's how that was a perfect segue to get you guys away from wins and losses.
And now it helps me. And I also started to realize that like I really want to touch people, but I had to find a way to not only just touch people here in this school or whatever school I'm at. It kind of like being a head coach kind of limits you a little bit.
But you wanted to be able to
I want to be able to touch more people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I want to be able to manifest some things and not just on a game. In a game, like, you know what I'm saying? I want to be able to touch more than just the players. I want to touch, adults, coaches, whatever it is. Inspire some more coaches. Inspire some more players, inspire referees and stuff. Like, we're starting I know there's a shortage of refs, but we're going to try to find a way to influence young refs. Try to influence refs at a young age, to try to create that interest.
And that pipeline.
Hopefully I can get a call through it. No, I'm just playing.
Coach, I think it's beautiful you having your wife involved. Does that help at all with the parents, with having to deal with moms or the dads or anybody that want to come watch a practice or anything, having her around all the time?
Not really. This is what prevents all that. Just being firm at the beginning of the season with your parents. Letting them know what you're going to tolerate and what you're not going to tolerate. Like playing time, I'm not going to discuss that. I let you know that it ain't guaranteed. Playing time is not guaranteed. This isn't the YMCA. This isn't pay to play. That's why I don't like play to sports, because the customer's always right.
Right, exactly.
But not here. You know what I'm saying? Like, your performance is going to get you on the court. And me always being from a different community, I always say this, like, hey, I'm not related to anybody. I can't show favoritism to nobody. I don't know nobody here. I am going to show favoritism to good ball players.
There you go.
And so become a good ball player. Like, how do you become that? Put it into work. Like, not making excuses. And like, I just kind of give them a clear understanding before the season. I make sure they understand that. So that kind of eliminates a lot of the backlash. Good. And even with picking teams, like wherever I've been, there's always 100 and some people at tryouts.
I was going to ask that.
There's always 100 and some people at tryouts. But me, I like doing my work early so I don't have to deal with it later. I'll talk to all the guys I cut. I'll sit there and be there all day long. And I'll talk to them and let them know why they didn't make it. Because that kind of like, that helps the relationship in the school.
Yeah.
You know, there's been times where you cut some people in that you walk past the hallway, down the hallway, and that kid mad at you. He mad, and or you get into it with that kid or something.
Yeah.
And so what I've learned is when you take the time out to have a conversation with them, and like that, your process just has to be fair.
Yeah.
Make sure your process is fair, and I try to make sure that that's the case. So that's how I try to eliminate problems. But even then, you're still gonna have problems.
Yeah.
So you still gonna have some problems. So, what was the question? Did I answer the question?
No, you did good, man. You answered it,
you
man. It was about the parents. You did good.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You did good.
Just doing stuff like that, man. Like just having your stuff ready, man. Like parents love when you organize.
Yeah.
You know.
And when you communicate.
When you communicate. But parents they love when their kid play. They don't
there
love
you
when
go.
their kid don't
there
play.
You go.
Every parent think their kid should be playing because like, I always give them an example of this too though, at the beginning of the year. I mean, if it's 4 of us here. If all 4 of us had to pick teams, I give them these 2 examples. If all 4 of us had to pick teams, I guarantee you we'll have 4. It was going to be 4 different teams. Not all of us are going to pick the same 15 to 12 guys. We're not going to do it. You probably going to pick your son for sure. I might not like your son as a player. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then also too, everybody want him to start, right? Well, I haven't done this, but I will if it happens.
If it come to this.
But I've seen this. This is a great example. I always share it at the parent meeting. There was a story to where they was having problems with playing time, and so starting lineups came out. We had the home game. They announced the opposite teams, starting lineups. They came out there. Now it's time for the home team. Nobody went out there. Nobody went out there for the starting lineup. Actually, no. All 5 went out. No, the whole team went out there. They had to forfeit the game because the coach made all 15 of them stay out there. So he just sat down and the ref was like, "Hey, we got to forfeit if they don't get." He turned around and said, "Hey," told the parents, "We can only start 5 at a time. I can't start. I've had 12 meetings about starting. We can only start 5 at a time."
Right.
Like sometimes you have to, and I'm not saying I'm the parent, the key to having great parents, man, because parents are going to they're going to all feel a certain way. They want to protect their kid. They want to protect their kids' feelings because, we're going to have a conversation in practice, but they're going to have a different game plan at the table. And that's something that you just have to like share those types of examples because a lot of parents don't know what you're talking about unless you give an example of what they're talking about.
Yeah.
And sometimes it hits them.
Yeah.
It hits them. So, you just got to, you got to believe in what you believe in.
Yeah.
That's real.
So y'all got any more? Y'all good?
We wrap up, bro.
Coach Mike, man, all the way, our brother from Saginaw.
Yes, sir.
We just want to say thank you, man, for hanging out with us, letting us take up a little bit of your time, get to know the mind of a champion and how you just have garnered all this success everywhere you went. We don't see no reason why you won't have success here. We want to tell you good luck. We want to tell you to stay anchored in the Lord, man, and keep letting him do the advancing in your life. Keep letting him lead the way because if you stay plugged into him, the success will continue to come no matter where you go.
Thank you.
You know what I'm saying? We just want to say good luck. And once again, man, thank you. Phenomenal job.
Thank you.
It was an absolute pleasure.
Keep it up.
Pleasure being on here, man. Thank you for welcoming me to Kentwood, Grand Rapids, man. I've been here. It's just been a short time, but I feel like I've met so many people that supports the basketball program. So many people that's just been waiting and dying to see some good basketball. Yeah. And so
man, this just being around this community, it's just it feels like love. It feels like excitement, and we got to, it's my job to give these guys something to expect, and that's to expect to win.
So we love it.
Well
There's
said.
no better way to close it out than the mic drop that Mike just gave us.
Right.
With that being said, guys, make sure you tune in to our next episode. Let us know anybody you want to see us interview next. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Make sure you leave us some comments, and please support the podcast and everything we're doing on all social media platforms. Until then, we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.